Hello, kiddos. See how handsome the prince is? Let's go. Today we are going to know about a story, The Princess and the Pea. Let's start the story. Once upon a time, there was a handsome young prince who decided to get married. You must marry a real, genuine princess, the queen insisted. She must be beautiful, clever, charming, and kind. Nothing less will do, my son. Agreeing with his mother, the prince traveled all over the world to find the real princess. There were many princesses, but it was difficult to find out if they were real, genuine ones. None of them seemed perfect. There was always something about them that was not right. Some were too tall, some were too short, others too thin or too fat. Some were old and some were very young. The princess was really disappointed. I just can't seem to find a real genuine princess anywhere. He sighed and began the long journey back to his kingdom. He would have liked very much to have a real princess as his bride. But when at last he returned home, he decided to give up the idea altogether. One dark night, a terrible storm came on. There was thunder and lightning, and the rain poured down in torrents. In spite of all this noise, the king heard a knock on the palace door. Who can be there on a night like this? Said the queen as the king went to open the door. There was a young girl standing in the doorway. Her clothes were soaking and her shoes were spattered with mud. Rainwater ran down her face and her long golden hair were all wet and bedraggled. Who are you? The king asked her gently. I am a princess. Please, may I come in? She whimpered. Princess or not, first come in by the fire and get warm, the king said, led her into great hall of his palace. When the prince saw her standing in firelight, he fell in love with her and wanted to marry her at once. However, the queen looked at the girl and frowned. She can't be a real genuine princess and looks such a mess. She muttered to herself. Well, we will soon find that out, she thought, but said nothing. The queen marched off towards the palace kitchen. From the store cupboard, she took one tiny dried pea and crept quietly up the back stairs into the guest room. There she took all the bedding off the bedstead and laid the pea there. She sent for all the maids in the palace and ordered in her sternest voice, bring me 20 mattresses from your linen cupboard at once and pile them up high on the bed. Then place 20 of your softest feather quilts on top of the 20 mattresses. The maids looked surprised, but were soon scurrying up and down the corridors, puffing and panting under the weight of the heavy mattresses. The pile of mattresses was so high that the maids couldn't longer reach them. So the queen ordered her page boys to bring long ladders. The maids then pulled quilts up the ladders until at last the job was done and the queen was satisfied. While all this was going on, the princess had dried out from her soaking and was ready for bed. The queen led her to the guest room. The princess climbed up the ladder right to the top of the 20 mattresses and 20 quilts. She had to lie there all night. Next day morning, the storm had passed. The wind had died down and the storm clouds had gone from the sky. Bright sunshine streamed in through the palace windows, and it was a beautiful day. The princess, however, came down looking very pale and tired. The queen asked her, "Did you sleep well?" "Oh, very badly," said the princess. "I have scarcely closed my eyes all night. Heaven only knows what was in the bed, but I was lying on something hard. I am black and blue all over my body." The queen was very happy, much to the surprise of others. She held the hands of Princess and led her to the guest room. She sent for her page boys and ordered them to remove the quilts and the mattresses. One by one, the page boys took away the feather quilts and the mattresses. And there, lying right in the middle of the bed, was one tiny dried pea. Why did she take that pea, by the way? Only a real genuine princess could feel a tiny pea through all those quilts and mattresses. No one else could be as sensitive as that, laughed the queen, the delight. When the princess heard the story, he asked the princess to marry him. Not because she had proved that she was real genuine princess, but because he had fallen in love with her when he first saw her. So the prince married the princess and they lived happily ever after. Nice, no? Prince and princess? See you for next story. Bye bye.